Good morning, guys. Chapter 7, In the Moonlight. You're not going anywhere without us. Wally stood in the doorway of his brother's room and faced the four older boys, Jake and Josh, Steve and Tony. Behind him, Danny and Bill Benson were nodding their agreement. We can't all go over there, Jake insisted. There's no point in it. Tony's the only one who's going to crawl in that window. So why are you guys all going, Wally demanded. Why doesn't Tony go over there by himself? Because somebody has to be the lookout, that's why, said Josh. Well, if you're all going, we're going, Bill insisted. There had better be lots of lookouts, one on each side of the house, and a couple more to help Tony make his getaway, Wally told them. All right, don't have a spaz, said Steve. But you've got to get out of the house without Mr. and Mrs. Hatford knowing about it. And don't let Peter and Doug in on it either, warned Jake. We'll be careful, said Wally. What time are you going over? Tony and Steve exchanged glances, then looked at Jake and Josh. Around 1 in the morning, Tony said. 1 in the morning, said Danny. I can't stay awake that long. It's okay. Just go to sleep then. We'll tell you all about it tomorrow, said Steve. Wally went back into his own room with Danny and Bill. I don't think they're going to wait until 1 in the morning. If they did, it wouldn't be March 22nd anymore. They're going to sneak over earlier, but they don't want us along. Ha, said Bill. So what are we going to do? We're going to turn out our lights and not make a sound. They'll think we've gone to bed, but the minute we hear them sneak downstairs, we're out of here, said Wally. Why was he doing this, Wally wondered. He certainly couldn't use this for the school assignment. Nothing looked so inviting to him as his bed right now, and nothing good ever came of getting mixed up with the Malloys. He should know that by now. But there was something about having Bill and Danny in his room. Something about the way the older boys treated them like babies that made him talk through. There was a light tap on the door, and Mrs. Hatford stuck her head inside. Anything else you need, boys? Peter and Doug are having some popcorn and cocoa downstairs. Want to come down for a snack? I think we'll just bring some popcorn up here, Mom, Wally told her. Even his mother was treating them like babies. Okay, help yourself, she said. The boys heard her tap on Jake and Josh's door, too, before she went downstairs, but all she asked them was whether they wanted a snack. She didn't offer them popcorn and cocoa. Naturally, they got to choose whatever they wanted. When Wally went down to the kitchen, Peter and Doug were sitting at the table, swinging their legs and taking turns reaching into the popcorn bowl, their mouths rimmed with marshmallow. Hey, Wally, said Peter, Doug and me are going to play Monopoly on my bed. You want to play? I don't think so, Wally told him. I'm pretty tired. I think Bill and Danny and I will turn in early. Well, we're going to stay up till midnight, said Doug. Yeah, we may not go to sleep all night, said Peter. Good for you, said Wally, and he took a bowl of popcorn upstairs and a giant-sized bottle of Mountain Dew. Peter and Doug held out until 9:30. Mrs. Benson called, and Doug talked to his mother for a while. Then the two boys took a bath. After Mrs. Hatford came up to calm them down, they finally went to bed, and the upstairs grew very quiet. Wally and Danny and Bill took turns listening at the crack in their door for any sign that the four older boys were leaving the house. Dad and Mom go to bed around 10. The guys will wait till they're sure they're asleep, and then they'll leave, I bet, said Wally. 10:15 came, 10:30, 10:40... There was still no sign of activity from Josh and Jake's room. No light from under their door, no stirring, no rustling. When do you suppose they're going to go? Bill asked. Maybe they fell asleep, said Danny. Wally went out into the hall. He tiptoed over to his brother's room. Not a sound. Gently, he tried the handle. The door was locked. But his feet were cold, and he realized suddenly there was a draft coming from under the door. The window! He hurried back to the room. They've already left, he said. They climbed out their window and slid down the tree. Danny and Bill jumped up and pulled on their shoes. We've got to be really, really quiet, though, Wally warned. And don't step on the next to last stair from the bottom. It squeaks. Silently, the boys crept out into the hall and down the stairs, careful to avoid the squeaky step. They pulled on their jackets and passed the big clock in the hall, which said 10:44. Softly, they opened the front door and closed it behind them. The air was heavy and damp. Occasionally, the moon peeped out from behind stormy, swirling clouds, then hid its face again. The boys made their way off the porch and down the sidewalk, where they crossed the road and went down the bank to the swinging bridge. The boards bounced, and the bridge swayed beneath their feet. As they climbed the hill on the other side to the house where the Malloys were staying, they could see no glow in the windows, no light on the porch. Wally led his friends around the clump of lilac bushes at the edge of the yard, and suddenly, whoomp! He collided with a warm, sturdy body, a body in a nylon jacket smelling of popcorn. "Hey!" said Wally. "Hey!" said the jacket. "Josh?" asked Wally. "Wally?" asked the jacket. The boys confronted each other. "I thought you were going to let us know when you came over here," Wally said. "There was too much noise going on. It took Peter and Doug forever to go to sleep, and we figured if we came through the hallway, someone would see us. So we went out the window," Josh told him. "Yeah, I'll bet you weren't going to tell us at all," Bill said. "Shh! I'm the lookout here. I have to keep my eyes on Mr. and Miss Malloy's bedroom and tell Steve if their light comes on," Josh said. "Well, we can help," said Danny. "Okay, just spread out around the house and watch for a light. Tony's crawling in the basement window right now, and he's going to start tapping. The minute you see a light go on anywhere in the house, give a whistle. Steve will tell Tony, Tony will crawl back out, and we'll all run." Bill and Danny moved on to the far side of the house, but Wally went around to where Steve and Jake were crouched by the open window, ready to pull Tony to safety at the right moment. Wally crouched down by the window, too. "What are you doing here?" Jake asked irritably. "Same as you," Wally said. From inside the basement, he could hear the faint sound. Steve and Jake grinned at each other. Steve couldn't contain a chuckle. "Do you see any lights coming on?" Jake whispered. Wally backed away from the house and scanned the window. "Nope." "Tap louder, Tony," Steve whispered, sticking his head in the window. "Maybe no one can hear it." Went the rapping on the water pipes. "Hey, cut it out, Wally," muttered Jake. "What?" said Wally. "Leave me alone," said Jake. "Quit bumping against me." "I'm not doing anything. I'm clear out here," said Wally. He strained to see Jake in the darkness, and then they saw it. They all saw it. The cougar was sniffing around next to Jake. "Cougar!" gasped Jake, throwing up his hands and springing backward. The animal turned and sprinted across the yard, disappearing into the trees. "Cougar!" Steve croaked through the basement window. A moment later, Tony came crawling out, Steve and Jake half dragging him the rest of the way, but he remembered to pull the window closed behind him. Then the boys were racing down the hill to the footbridge. Bill and Danny and Wally at their heels, Josh bringing up the rear. They didn't stop till they reached the other side of the river. "What happened? Did you see it?" Josh asked, breathless. "No, it was the cougar, right beside me," Jake gasped. "I think it touched my neck with its nose." "Oh, you're imagining things," said Josh. "No, I saw it too," said Steve. "So did I," said Wally. "Man, oh man, oh man," said Jake. "I've never been that close to a wild animal in my life. Do you think it was about to attack me?" "Probably wanted to sniff you out first, so see if you'd taste good," said Steve, trying to make a joke, but no one laughed. Tony was upset that his little trick on the Malloys seemed to have been preempted by the cougar. "What about the girls?" he asked. "Did a light come on in Caroline's bedroom?" "No." "Maybe nobody heard the tapping." "Great. So we..." Jake froze. "Look," he said. The boys turned around. There on the hill, on the Malloy side of the bridge, stood the cougar, bathed in a spotlight of moonlight. It was standing very, very still, with only its tail twitching. Chapter 8, A Small Suspicion.